21. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 21.
Well, big apologies to you. We had a technical fault here. We lost power at the Motor Point Arena, so we missed the start of our second semi-final here in Cardiff, but we are able to now join our commentary team for this game. A very good evening to Dominic Dale and Terry Griffiths.
Sorry about that. We've seen Ronnie O'Sullivan pot a few balls. You haven't missed too much.
Foul.
Joe Perry had 2 long pots to go for, but just missed them. First point sent for Joe Perry. That was a penalty, 6 points.
Back your set, yeah? Could you bring it?
Oh,
could you bring it on then, please, Pete?
That's not going to be easy for the referee. I think a few balls moved. He's just looking round now at the monitor, and the score up underneath will help him to replace the balls.
Could you speak a bit louder, please? Yeah.
Yes, for the television matches,
Which one is it?
marker, the official marking the game, actually has a DVD player, and he's able to
one?
pause it and get a freeze frame of the previous shot, which is a real big aid to the referee, and put the balls back almost exactly in the right positions.
Right. So did the whole pack move then, yeah? How about that? Is that the original? Good. Could you wipe it up and down, please, for me? So I can see the original and how it is now.
As Dominic mentioned, you know, it's assistance for the referee myself, but it's still difficult to get him exactly right. I'm not quite sure, you know, if there's a great deal of importance, because Sullivan's going to play the same shot, I should think, in that side of the pack.
Okay.
So here we go.
On it. Joe. Or slightly on the side, wasn't it? Okay.
Close enough, as I say. Bit more side this time. Ooh, still close. Think he's left that one in the centre, Dominic?
I think he's okay, Terry. Have to hit the extreme right edge of the red. I don't think he can. I suppose he could double it in the opposite centre, but there's no value in that. It's far too risky. In behind the brown will be the order of the day.
I think Joe Perry be quite comfortable with the safety battles with Ronnie. He's a very good safety player, Joe Perry. He doesn't score as well as Ronnie, who does. But, he's had some a few good seasons now, Joe Perry. Looking to bring his skill levels out better the last few years. He's always been a tidy player, been in the top 16 for many years. I think he's pushed up a bit further now. I'm not sure if he's in the top 8. He's not far off.
Must just apologise to viewers watching this match on your televisions that we still have a couple of technical difficulties and we're only able to show you a limited coverage at the moment. One of our cameras is experiencing difficulties. We hope to get that up and running very shortly for you. Didn't finish perfectly, that safety, from Joe Perry's point of view. There is a red on here for Ronnie into the right centre. Decided to play it into the green pocket instead for position on the black. I'm sure Joe Perry going into this match would have known he's got every chance of beating Ronnie. He ran him very, very close in the 2014 World Championships. Played absolutely superbly well, Joe Perry, in that match, and only lost it 13-11. So he's obviously not afraid of Ronnie and has beaten him a couple of times. Certainly giving Ronnie something to think about here, that's for sure. Can't return the cue ball back to the top cushion because of Joe's excellent safety. Left the cue ball just a fraction away from it. And to play the cue ball towards the bulk cushion. Oh, that looks pretty good. Unless Joe can get through to the red that's on the green spot to the left centre. If he can, could be considered a good opportunity.
One.
It's a confidence booster for Joe. Be disappointed if he can't score a good few points from here. The Reds are awkwardly positioned, a lot of them. Very tricky sometimes when the Reds are in bulk like they are. Problem is, they're sort of blocking one another, really. At least you can get down for the black or the pink off this one.
Seven.
Played that well.
13.
Joe Perry glanced up the top of the table then, and before he potted that red, he wouldn't be too happy with what he's seen, I'm afraid. 5 reds below the line of the blue spot, down towards the baulk.
21.
Just taking his time, yeah. It's his first time he's bothered the scoreboard, I think, more or less. But, did have 6-point
22.
penalty from. Oh, he's hitting the pink out of a snooker. It's a big night for Joe Perry, you know. If he should beat Ronnie O'Sullivan tonight, he's going to play his best mate again.
29.
Lee Robson in the final. They played last year, I think it was. Last season in the final over in China, I think it was. Or certainly was abroad anyway. I'm not quite sure where. Lost, I think 9-8 it was. Very close match. You look, if you're going to win it, he led.
Joe Perry 29.
What Ronnie said to Joe then, talking about something on the way past. Unusual that for Ronnie. He never talks to you, does he? Doesn't talk to his opponents generally.
He probably said something to Joe like, Joe, do you fancy a re-rack? Can't make 100 break from here.
Okay, you need to mention that.
Ronnie just speaking to referee Marcel Eckert from Bavaria, Germany, saying that it's very hot in the arena and it needs to be cooled down a little bit. Maybe that's what he was saying to Joe just beforehand.
And Joe could take this red on, down into the left corner. Screw down the table, pink or black possibly. Tough shot. Oh, that was close. Oh, he's been a bit unfortunate. He's come back up onto the centre pocket. Of course, Ronnie O'Sullivan's facing the same problems with those reds down the bottom of the table. Joe Perry 14 points in front at the moment. The match started late and it's nothing much has happened so far. We could be on nothing there. Unless he takes the blue on, I can't see the yellow, I don't think. But unlucky.
Great pot from Ronnie, but unfortunately he's lost position, so
6.
definitely just a safety shot now, but he'll probably bring that red off the side cushion next to the green. Well, he's going to develop the brown.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 6.
Choice of safeties here for Joe. A couple of thin edges off a couple of reds, one near the yellow pocket. Could see a return to the black spot end of the table for Joe with the cue ball. He hit it really thin, he could fluke it. Just like that. Not so sure Joe would have attempted that pot. You don't really go for a 1 in 10 shot like that, leaving the cue ball in the middle of the table. I think that was just a bonus.
Free. 4. Seven.
This is a big shot for Joe. If he pots this, he'll fancy winning this first frame. Ah, well. He'd have expected to have got that, to be honest, because he knew if he missed it, it wouldn't necessarily have cost him the frame. But he's still got a 15-point lead in this first frame, so very competitive in it. Not the sort of frame that Ronnie O'Sullivan likes. Well, not the sort of frame anybody really likes.
Very close to that, and he hasn't done too much damage. There's still 3 reds that are difficult to get at. Just get an extension now that he doesn't have to use the rest for this pot. If the yellow and green weren't there, this would be a much easier shot. You're going to have to hit a little bit with backspin now. Nicely played. Quite smooth with his cue action. Joey doesn't hit at the ball, as we say. He's more of a stroke over the ball than a hitter.
Three. 4.
Joe, of course, won the PTC finals, which is a 100,000 prize ranking event, and it's his first ranking win on one of the bigger events anyway. And I remember him getting to the final against Stephen Henry in Malta, and that would have been something like 2001, I think.
Yeah, I was there, Terry, actually. I think Stephen won 9-2 that final. I think I'd lost in the quarters, the semis in it myself. Oh, that was the one, wasn't it, Terry?
Joe Perry 6.
Got away with it. And that's the key in this match. I suspect Joe will miss pots, but if it's your lucky day, you get away with a lot of them, and if it's not your lucky day, you just keep leaving Ronnie in. But as long as he gets away with the odd one or two, Joe, no reason at all why he can't win this match. None at all.
I'm not quite sure if this is potable. Ronnie's having a look at it, so he must have a slight angle there.
One.
A bit more pace than that may have wobbled, but it's a good chance now. I mean, a few minutes ago it seemed all the balls were in awkward positions. Now they're in straightforward positions.
8.
13 points behind Ronnie O'Sullivan.
9.
There's no colour safe at the moment, so Brown's off the spot, and Blue will be back on his spot after this.
$14. 16. 19. 23.
Just about went through the back pocket then. It's handy if you can play left-handed as well.
28.
Just the pink needed then. Bit of a disjointed frame really, but it's going to go to Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's looked up, he doesn't need the black. Just a bit of practice. 1-0 O'Sullivan.
Well, as you can tell, with only the one camera working, we are still experiencing technical difficulties after the power cut that we had here earlier on. So what we're going to have to do, I'm afraid, is to come off air for 10 minutes or so to try to fix the problem. And World Snooker have agreed to take the players off as well while we perform a bit of a reboot to the system. So hopefully normal service will be resumed after that. So do please bear with us, and we will be back with you and this semi-final very shortly.
$44.
Well, I did promise you last time there'd be no more interruptions, didn't I? But hopefully that was the last one. And apologies once again for another loss of our transmission here in Cardiff. Let's hope that is the end of it, and we'll go back to join our commentary team of Dominic and Terry.
It's a good red from Joe in the right centre to keep the break going. Oh, I'm sure for a moment Joe thought he might have missed that black. Not ideally on this red, it's a bit of a stretch.
52. $53. $60. $61.
This black and one more red required for Joe Perry to get the scoreboard rolling. Level this match up at 1 frame all. An excellent break this by Joe.
68.
Chance of a century.
69. $76. $77. $84.
Possibility here for Joe, making 143.
85.
Should we take blacks with the remaining reds? Of course, the highest break prize was settled long ago, I think, with Ding's magnificent 147 maximum break.
92. $93.
Oh, well played, Joe Perry. Break goes to 100. Superb riposte this. The disappointment of having chances to win the first frame. And for Ronnie O'Sullivan to make an excellent clearance to steal it from him. Well, they're all going in now for Joe Perry.
$106. $107.
And that man there, Ronnie O'Sullivan, if you didn't know already, does now that Joe Perry is here to
112.
compete in this match, and why shouldn't he, playing like this?
114. $117. $121. $126. $132.
Well played, Joe Perry. A wonderful total clearance of 139 sends a clear message to Ronnie O'Sullivan. He intends to make a match of this. He levels the scores up at 1 frame all.
around that sort of mark from 13 up to 16. But he's pushed forward now and won a few events, and he practiced, of course, when Neil Robertson was in the final tomorrow. So, I mean, I dare say he's learned a lot from Neil in many ways.
Yeah. But, Neil actually doesn't arrive in the club till late afternoon and tends to practice a lot on his own, do 2 or 3 hours and then go home. But maybe he's learned not to take things as seriously. But I mean, he's a great player, Joe Perry. He won't be afraid of Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Thank you, the
Had
third
many
frame.
close matches, although hasn't won many of them.
Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
It's set up nicely now as Ronnie breaks off a frame 3, 1 frame more.
I'm not sure if he's got a pot on here. He's just playing a thin cut to go back down to the baulk area. And that's gone wrong. I'm not sure if Joe thought that red may cannon into one of the other reds, but he wouldn't have played that shot otherwise. So it's quite a bit of a distance, nearly 12 foot between the two balls, so it's not an easy shot for Ronnie O'Sullivan.
One.
He's not happy with that. Great pot. He thought he was perhaps hitting the pack on the way back up.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1. Foul and a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4. Okay.
So a miss given him. Gives Joe another opportunity. Never easy on these shots. You're going off 2 cushions to just flick the red on the way back up to the baulk area. Well, Joe Perry's got to hit the cushion at least where he did last time. So he seems happy enough there. I don't want to say he's that happy he's into snooker, of course, but the referee's put it back in the right place. And that's the problem always, you see. A bit too thick, and you're generally going to leave your opponent a chance, and this is quite a good one. So Ronnie O'Sullivan sat out most of the previous frame with that big clearance from Joe Perry of 139. May spur him on a bit because he doesn't seem to me at the moment sitting in the chair to be that interested. Dare say he is.
Eight. Nine. Sixteen. 17. 22.
Ronnie landed
23.
pretty well on that red. Had the angle there to develop other reds in the course of potting that one. Can be missed, this black, but I don't know, I don't fancy Ronnie missing it, I suppose. Dead centre.
30. 31.
This for me is where Ron has impressed me most this week. Been scoring so heavily, so consistently in his matches, winning so many frames in one visit from opportunities such as this.
38.
Hasn't looked in trouble in any match. Possibly bar the first, when
39.
his mind seems to be wandering slightly and ought to have gone 2-1 down in the best of 7 to Barry Pinches.
$44.
I think the most impressive performance from Ronnie Sullivan was against Tian Pengfei in this, I don't know what it was, second or third round. And he made 3 centuries and a 90 break, 4-0. By the time his opponent
52.
put the ice in his drinks.
53.
Yes, 38 minutes that match took.
$60. 61.
Didn't quite get right. Looking down to the reds, but you can hear
66.
the applause. Means Sullivan is safe in this frame, barring snookers.
67.
And still running. Be nice to have another century. I don't think he can get one from there unless that red goes past. No, I don't think he's
74.
just shaking his head. He's always disappointed, Ronnie, if he doesn't clinch the century. Hello. Oh, he's tried to pot the red in the bottom. You know he's got it. What a shot that was. I got to be honest, Dominic, I didn't see that from here.
Well, I could see he was looking at it. I mean, the chances of that's something really special. To actually make a
82.
plant like that is ridiculous.
83.
The crowd loves it, doesn't he, at the shots like that. Well, I did anyway.
$90. 91.
No, I think he can get through to the red past the yellow after this green. Hopefully it'll be straightforward.
94.
Get the century.
95.
This will be Ronnie Sullivan's
97.
8th century. Just needs yellow and green so far in the Welsh Open.
99.
And what a wonderful wonderful exhibition of snooker we've had here this year. I think it's been a great advert for our sport, the Welsh Open this year. There's been some tremendous stuff.
106.
Yes, Terry, I've had 146 and a 147. Can't remember if
111.
ever I've seen that before in a tournament.
$117.
It's exhibition stuff, and it's very enjoyable. Well done, Ronnie O'Sullivan. She's had centuries in the second and third frame, but it's O'Sullivan's 124 this time that takes him in front. He leads by 2 frames to 1.
Responds to going 2-1 down. He's back at the table.
Yes, an important frame for Joe, this one, before the mid-session interval.
One.
That's fantastic from Ronnie. He really is playing well again in this semi-final match. Just waiting for Ronnie to have a bad session or a time when he's struggling, but it's not happening yet. Very deflating when you're not doing a great deal wrong yourself. Well, there you go. Finally a mistake from Ronnie.
O'Sullivan 1.
I'm sure Joe wasn't expecting to be back to the table so quick.
That was an unexpected miss from O'Sullivan. And it wasn't when it wobbled in the pocket, it didn't go in. He missed it by quite a bit, really. Didn't look happy on his way back to the chair. Don't blame him.
Eight.
Because O'Sullivan is, he thinks a little different from us here in the commentary. I mean, we're looking at him and thinking how brilliant he is and how easy it is for him, but it's not like that for him. If he's got that red
16.
at the back of the pack, he's okay. Have to be careful though. Not to push, play a push shot.
17.
It's very early yet, but we could have 3 centuries here on the spin. There's a good chance for Joe.
24.
That's one of the problems you see with Ronnie O'Sullivan. And Stephen Henry was very similar as well, Dominic. You know, when they miss, you know, there's always balls available for you because they open the pack so quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Sean Murphy reminds me of a player like that as well. When he gets in, manages to develop the balls very soon on. If he does miss something easy, he seems to come to the table with a great opportunity most of the time. Just not straight enough here, Joe, to hold for the black. See, he's just the wrong side of this red.
25.
Went up for the blue there, but he's a good few inches short of ideal pace on the cue ball. And I think the red that's nearest this right corner is a bit of a blocker for 2 potential pots into it. Could be that the only red Joe can really try to get on here is the one just above the cue ball. Don't know if one of those reds will pot into this right corner. Not really, so he's running the cue ball right through so he can get past one of the 2 reds to one that's
30.
nearest this right corner. About a half ball pot this, he'll be swinging the cue ball round for position on the blue, I would have thought.
$31. $34. 35. $42. 43.
Good chance this for Joe Perry to level things off before they go for the mid-session interval cup of tea. Be about a 15 or 20 minute interval after this frame. Ooh, is he on a red? Does that bottom red go? I think Joe thinks it does.
50. $51. $58.
This is good stuff.
59.
From both of them, and of course the first semi-final today was outstanding match. Neil Robson against Mark Allen. Been big crowds in all the week, and they're getting plenty of entertainment.
66.
Snooker, of course, very popular in Wales, always has been.
$67.
That red was frame ball. So, looks likely now that we're going to have this match all square at the mid-session interval at 2 frames all.
72.
This is great stuff from Joe Perry. He's not worried about who he's playing or how he plays.
73.
He's there to do his own thing. That's the way to play against anybody, not just that man there, Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's a great player himself, Joe Perry, as we're seeing here.
78.
Already made that fantastic 139. Levelling up the match at 1-all. Can make another century here to level up at 2-all.
79. $85. 86. $92.
Oh, what a shame. No second century for Joe Perry, but that fantastic effort in 92. He draws level with Ronnie O'Sullivan at the mid-session interval. It's 2 frames all.
Intriguing stuff, isn't it? So let's go back to our commentary team. Dominic and Terry, 2-2.
Thank you, Ian. It's been a very interesting match. I mean, high scoring and a few disruptions. Different, slightly different, but sure the crowds enjoyed it all. There's a big crowd, and when I came back down just now, they were all standing, looking in at the table there, you know, with, I don't know what's there that they don't see from their seats, but still.
Foul. Ronnie O'Sullivan for.
Now then, it wasn't that bad until the red was knocked over to that left corner. So let's see if his practice upstairs has helped him here. It's not always the case that players go up and practice in the practice room in the interval because they're not playing well. It's just they want to fill some time in, really.
Foul. Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
Oh, he's blowing the wipe. Wiped it. Supposed to do that, I don't think. Wasn't the rule out, Dominic, that you can't pick the ball up and wipe it? The referee's got to do it.
1.
Yes, you're not allowed to clean it with your own cloth or anything like that. That's because there were 1 or 2 players that were going out into the arena. They had their cloth full of a certain brand of spray polish. I won't name names. But it was thought that they were polishing the ball with that particular polish because that's what they did on the practice table and it suited them.
Well, there's nothing wrong in that. So who was that, Dominic? You give us a clue and you've just left us hanging.
I'll tell you later.
Seven.
Chance here, Ronnie, to nudge one of the reds into a potable position. Clear the black spot slightly. That's worked out well.
14.
Nicely into the gap there for the black. Left-hander with a touch of backspin inside. Sounds easy enough. Let's come and have a look if the black
22.
was into the right corner.
Well,
that wasn't a good contact. The white bounced a bit, but he's okay on this red, I think. This is the one he's been after. Clear the black
30.
into both corner pockets.
31.
Wanted a quicker response off the top cushion there, Ronnie. Just a
38.
tiny bit shorter position on this red. But using the pack again to
39.
gain position on the black. Opened quite a few more reds out now. We wanted to be a little bit low on the red there, Ronnie, but it's a bit more of a cutback than I think he intended it to be.
46. Forty-seven. $53. 54. 61. 62.
Dominic and myself really don't want to say anything. We just want to watch like spectators, don't we? When Ronnie gets in, it's so special. You've got to say something. Just the red
69.
needed then by Ronnie O'Sullivan. And
70.
Graham clinched in one visit. Look at that. I mean, they weren't great, and now
77.
5 reds are available. They're nice.
78.
And without that much pace as well.
In the last 4 frames, we've seen breaks of 139 from Joe Perry, 124 from Ronnie, 92
86.
from Joe Perry, and now this 86 and counting from Ronnie. Doesn't get any better.
$93. 94.
Ninth century for Ronnie O'Sullivan in the Welsh Open this year.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
70th of the
101
tournament, so a very special one. But Ronnie O'Sullivan misses that red, but it doesn't really make any difference. He's back in the lead, he's 3-2 in front.
Perry breaks off
Frame 6.
the frame
Perry to
6. Ronnie's looking very dangerous again. They've swapped frames really in this match so far. Neither player managing to gain a 2 frames lead. Ronnie won the first frame, and they've swapped frames ever since. Nothing much wrong with that break off from Joe. Hasn't left the easier long red. No attempt at the pot there from Ronnie, I don't think.
Well, he's left a red on in the middle there. Ronnie didn't catch that right. No real danger here for Joe Perry. Definitely get on the black.
1.
You could have missed that pot, or you wouldn't have left anything easy on. So.
Eight. 9.
Would have liked to have opened a couple more reds into potable positions there, Joe. and playing through for the black, but nothing really seemed to dislodge itself from the cluster. Just the one loose red now, the one to the right of the pack.
$16. $17.
Just wondering what kind of contact Joe had there. He seemed surprised the cue didn't run through more for better position on the black than this. This is tough.
Joe Perry, 17.
It looked then as if Joe Perry was going to leave a red on, but a little bit lucky. There is one on, but not an easy one. If he hadn't clipped the red he played, he would have left a Sullivan an easy starter. So again, it's into a very narrow angle of the middle pocket. No room for error at all there. Well, anyway, 30 seconds ago there was a few balls up the top of the table and it looked as if it was going to be a long safety bout, but that's changed round now as Ronnie Sullivan covered this red on the centre. No. Joe can get through.
One. Yeah, sure. Six.
Joe just asking our referee, Marcel Eckert, to clean the cue ball. Needs a good contact on this red. Imperative he gets the right angle on his colour to go into the pack of reds. Marcel Eckert lives in Berlin now, near Potsdamer Platz, not far from where I used to live a few years ago.
Seven.
So good split, but the way Joe's looking round, I'm not sure if this red passes the black, does it? No. Looks like end of break. Well, if you're closer to that, I think you could drop it in off the far knuckle, but there's no point in doing that because you wouldn't be on the black then. So deserved better there. You hit the blue in clean and caught the reds nicely.
Joe Perry, 12.
Very lucky for Joe. Couldn't have asked for a better split of the reds and to not be on one. Wow. if that'll make a difference during the course of this frame. 29-point lead. There's nothing really. You consider the position of the reds. Ronnie using the jaws of the pocket there, not necessarily to pot the red, but to make sure it's remained at that end of the table with the other reds, screwing the cue ball back to bulk. Maybe a shot to nothing on here for Ronnie. Red into the left corner. Just needs to watch the bump of the middle pocket with the cue ball. Was it much too thick?
Thank you.
Pocket's always there. He caught the knuckle, I'm afraid. No, that's a nice strike. Very nice.
Seven.
If the pink doesn't go, it'll slow things up a bit for O'Sullivan. Just the blue and the bar colours available.
8.
He's gone a little bit too far, possibly, for the blue. Otherwise, you would have just played a soft little screw into the pink. He may still play it. There you go. Never misses a chance to get the ball gripping.
13.
High value colours are generally in play when he's making a break. It's quite a thin cut, this. Still put enough spin on to bring the pink into play on the pink spot, of course.
14.
These reds could have easily have been Joe Perez. He'd have had a more fortuitous split earlier on, and he had a good opportunity.
20.
Still got lots of work to do, O'Sullivan here. Still behind in the frame. 2 reds tied up with the black. Maybe 3 of them
26.
if the red just above those 2, why the black doesn't pop past it.
27. $33. 34.
I see a left-handed shot here, trying to bring something into play here with these 3 reds and black. Very nice. split them all, but
40.
didn't come out perfect. He's only 11 points in front, so needs to make this one. Very
41.
nice. Didn't push the border and play for the black there. It needed too much pace, and it could have stopped the red going into the corner.
$47. 48.
Once again, Ronnie showing
Sure.
his ability to play with either hand. Have that degree of ambidexterity is incredible. As if he's not good enough. Just stunned that cue ball slightly too much. It's easy done when you've got
55.
the extension on the end of your cue. Just red, colour red required for
56.
a 4-2 lead, which will be the first time either player's had a 2 frames lead in this match.
$61. 62.
Very vociferous audience we have in tonight, giving Ronnie plenty of support.
67.
Wow. It's like another
69.
90 plus break coming up here. Can't quite make the century. Break will end at
72.
94. Should he go on and make the clearance? What an exhibition of break building this is. From both players, it has to be said.
76.
Joe Perry certainly playing his part in this match. Rates of 139 and 92. To go those Sullivans 124 and 101 in this effort here.
81. $87.
Been a pleasure to watch and commentate on this match. Ronnie O'Sullivan with this black. Clears a table with 94, and for the first time manages to gain a 2 frames lead over Joe Perry at 4 frames to 2.
And I think that Ronnie has set the bar, and they've got to get back to it.
Yeah, others are winning, of course, because Ronnie doesn't play in every single tournament, does he? But let's head back then with O'Sullivan with a good chance to get it through to another ranking event final, leading 4-2.
Yeah, she's got a bit to do yet. I don't see Joe Perry throwing the towel in yet. $101 then and 94 in the last 2 frames from O'Sullivan. That does put some pressure on you when you get a chance. You think, well, I've got to make them. That's not quite true. What you can't do is make a mistake. You can do 50 and play a good safety, be all right, but you just feel that if you leave O'Sullivan in, he's off to go again. Oh. Well, if he goes in off, he'd be unlucky. And if he's not on a colour. That was such a difficult shot, hitting down into the cue ball, and to retain the accuracy and pot it was excellent. He could have hoped for something better than what he's facing now.
Brown ball. Yellow ball.
Right. He can't stop potting him. He played a safety there. Look at him. He's laughing himself now. He played the perfect safety. He's looking, there's no gap between the cue ball and the cushion. It's dead on the cushion. Best safety of the night.
I know, amazing that went in at that pace from that angle. He's going to have to be careful here, doesn't knock a red onto the left corner. Oh. Needs some help with the bulk colours.
Show Perry.
And I don't think
3.
he's going to get any.
No, that is heartbreaking for Joe. He's played it slow, and he hasn't got it right.
1.
Left himself very thin on the black. At that speed, you're never quite sure of getting on the black, but I think Dominic and myself was a bit surprised he didn't get on it, but he's looking at the blue. You're not one of these in against Mark Salabier, remember? Earlier on in the tournament. Very nice.
Six.
Just looking at the prize money, and the Sullivans earned what, £8.5 million playing snooker, just the prize money alone. And you can see why when you watch him play like this.
Thirteen. Fourteen.
Just about the right side of the blue Ronnie here. Black's only available into that one corner pocket, the right hand one, so he'll look to be fairly straight on his next red here to run through for it. Well, that's okay, the middle red of the three is ideal here, can just rebound the cue ball off that side cushion.
19.
Well, he's going to play the right hand one instead. Doesn't really matter which of those two reds he played, looked to be quite well placed on both of them. I'd love to pop that red to the left of the black as soon as he can, which will free it up into both corners.
$27. $28. $35. $36. $43. $44. $51. $52. 59. $60.
He's a scoring machine.
67. 68.
Safe again. And he spotted 127 balls out of the 132, or 33 now, 128. That's 96% pot success.
74.
Incredible.
75. 77. 78. 83. 84.
'Need a good shot here. Ooh. And then surely he
88.
can't pass something from here. Surely. He's played in the middle, look, dead weight. Oh, what a great attempt.
88 in the frame.
But it's not going to make any difference. Not 85 from Ronnie Sullivan. Or 88, I should have said. It's taken him in the frame in front now, and he's looking very dominant, isn't he, Dominic?
Using this Welsh Open as practice for exhibition matches, but, well, he only needs one more frame to get through to the final tomorrow night. 5-2 his lead.
Yes, Joe Perry can't afford any more mistakes. I'm very impressed with Joe. He's gone out there, done his own thing. He's played very, very well. He really has. Must be very deflating when you're doing all that you can out there and it's still nowhere near good enough. I just go back to that. I think it was the fifth or the sixth frame when Joe went into the reds. Was very, very unlucky not to land on anything. Could have won the frame and levelled at 3-all. Instead, Ronnie got back in and ended up winning the frame for 4-2. Wow. You can't pot everything, Ronnie.
Nice, just brought the block into play. Good safety. Hasn't put Ronnie O'Sullivan in trouble, but left him a pot either. Probably played the gap behind the blue, but it's just hit past there, but good length from the cue ball.
Thank you. One.
Well, he's on this pink and he deserved to be on something, but very thin cut into the centre and not easy to pot it and get good position. Things have just closed up a bit here. Now the black did come into play and the blue was out into play, but they're both out of it at the moment, so just the pink to play on at this side of the table. Now there's a nice gap here between the reds to get onto that pink in the right centre.
8.
He's been off the table a while, Joe, and you'd be glad to get another chance. You'd have played a lot worse than this many times and been well in front.
I
actually think Joe's played the best snooker of the week from his point of view in this match. And yet, well, he was 2-all at the interval, so certainly did hold Ronnie. But since then, breaks of 101, 94 and 88 from Ronnie. He's just seen him forge ahead.
15.
Just typical here that when Joe gets a good opportunity, the black's tied up. And there's not much he can do about it, really. The blue, of course, is out of commission up there on the bulk cushion. So needs to control the cue ball very well here, because he's only really got the pink and the bulk colours to go with.
And
that's made things a little bit easier. Pink goes in both corners and 2 centres now. That gives Joe more choice of his positional side of his game here.
28.
Still not easy to win the frame with just the The one ball available
29.
down here, you've got to keep your cue ball tight. Shouldn't be more than 12 inches away at all. Just little stuns. A bit further away this time, but he couldn't get closer to this red.
35. $36.
Yes, if Joe wanted to, he could have played for the red that's above the black, slightly to the left. He was high on it, he could stun it in and cannon the red away from the black, but he was too high on the pink there, and he's had to come across the other side of the red, the one that I was talking about.
42.
So it's back for the pink in the right centre.
43.
Taking these well though, Joe. I say his favourite for the frame now. Just needs to keep his concentration.
$49. 50.
Not sure if Ronnie expects to get back to the table in this frame, but Joe's... Well, he's got a good angle here, Joe, to develop the reds, the two below the pink. Not entirely happy. If he could just cannon the right hand, or sorry, the left hand red of the two together below the pink, should leave himself on one into the same pocket. Thought he could just run past the two reds instead. I think he's on the top one into the left corner here.
56.
Just about.
Joe Perry, 56.
Wow, Joe will be disappointed. See that red not find its way into the pocket. If Ronnie can knock this long red in, he may be able to develop the black. Problem is, he cannons a red by the black. Would the black be cannoned into the pocket? Didn't play the cannon, played around the angles, the position on the pink, and played it perfectly.
Seven. 8. 14. 15. 21. 22.
That's the red away from the black perfectly there. Wow, that was a rather adventurous positional shot. Ronnie didn't feel he could screw in behind the red on the cushion and leave
29.
himself close enough to it to make it an easy pot. Look at the scoreboard. Something I haven't seen him do much this week, I have to say. 27 points in arrears. Never considering this red as he down the cushion from there.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 29.
Surely that was too risky. I think he just wanted to challenge himself there, Ronnie. He enjoyed every second of attempting that red, I feel.
1. 8. 9.
That was the frame ball for Joe Perry. 36 points ahead now, but just 35 remaining. So it looks as though we're heading into a 9th frame, or an 8th frame, I beg your pardon, at 5-3. No attempt at the pot there from Joe, snookering his opponent, Ronnie.
9.
Here comes to the table, leading the snooker. And behind that snooker, it will be 5-3 to Ronnie O'Sullivan.
One.
What's he going to do here? He needs one snooker.
8.
He's had a look. I think he's made his decision already. He's going to get to a certain
10.
stage and then play the snooker.
Ronnie
Pretty good.
O'Sullivan. 10.
Normal circumstances, it wouldn't be that difficult off one cushion for Joe Perry, but there's pressure on this one. Lucky the blue is tight on that cushion. Yes, well done, sir. Just about got away from that pocket then. Not straightforward from here to even to play a good safety. He's gone for behind the brown. Could kiss it in. Oh, what a shot. What a shot. Oh. Wonderful entertainment.
Sure, Joe just played this off the side cushion, but he's got to judge the slide off this cushion into the green. Judged it well, good shot.
I tried to stand then and get behind the brown again, but it's a difficult shot. Wow, we missed that by a long way. That's an unusual one. Oh, nice played. He brought the blue into play. Not sure if he played the green to go back up there. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. That's good. And a difficult one to hit. He can only go off the cushion he's going now with the rest. He's got to hit it hard. Good hit. It's not too bad. He's still in this frame of Sullivan. He just needs one snooker.
Wow, what a fantastic green from Joe Perry. That really will seal this frame for him now. And in goes the brown for good measure.
7.
It's been a fantastic match,
12.
and Joe Perry must be very proud of himself, the way he's acquitted himself here. Playing some very, very, very good snooker.
18 and a frame.
And in goes the pink, he doesn't bother with the black. Joe Perry with that 56 break that he made earlier on helps to reduce the deficit to just 2 frames at 5 frames to 3.
Frame 9. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Can you hear?
No.
Another good break off the left hand from Ronnie Sullivan. Looking for the one frame that he needs to go into tomorrow's final to play Neil Robinson. Joe Perry may have some other ideas. Both these players turned professional in 1992 at the same time. We're not sure here, he's not seeing a straightforward safety shot, they should have been down by now. So is he committing to this, or is he just dropping the cue ball on the back cushion? Yeah, he had a go. Oh! He just missed that red. If he'd have caught that red on the way back up, he left something on. Good attempt.
1.
Another superb exhibitional ball striking from Ronnie there. Red went in absolutely cleanly. Struck beautifully. Choice of blue or green. The red that's just by the black will pot into the right corner, and Ronnie will want to get on that as soon as possible to free the black. Didn't get the best contact there, Ronnie.
4.
Short of ideal position.
Trouble is that the black only goes in one of the corner pockets. He's got a gap he could get through, but it's not much room for error there. Or he can stay for the pink.
5.
Thought there's a thinner cut and that into the middle. There's only one thought in Sullivan's mind at the moment. He's going to win this frame and win the match at this visit.
11. Twelve. 19. 20. 'Ronnie O'Sullivan, 20.
Well, that was a wayward one from Ronnie. I just wonder if he's in two minds there about what shot to play positionally from this black. Reprieve for Joe Perry.
1. 8.
Left a nice angle on this red, now to play for the black.
9.
'Nice angle here off
16.
this red then to get on the black and split a few reds open.
17.
Quite tightly packed together. Hasn't got the power to get the spin as Sullivan gets on into the pack, and as you can see there now he's did a bit too hard really. The spin didn't take.
24.
Just got the edge of the pack. So a chance each for either player in this frame. Good chance to get out behind the yellow and brown up there. Now then, is he going to get a good bounce
Joe
behind
Perry,
the yellow?
24.
Not quite.
Ronnie just having a look at this red below the pink spot, which will pot into the right corner. Offers him a great shot to nothing possibility. Cue ball should be threading the path between the yellow and the pink on its way out to bulk. There is a more riskier long pot, shall we say, which is what he's looking at now. It's a sort of 3/4 ball red, one that's in the middle of the 3 to the right. Oh, he played the edge.
One.
Played the one on the right, completely on the right, so as I say, it was more risky. He'd left Joe a choice of reds had he had missed it, but he's in such a confident frame of mind, O'Sullivan. Doesn't feel he can miss anything. And now, a great chance for frame a match at this visit for Ronnie. Already 4 points in the lead. And the reds at his mercy.
8. Yeah. Good. 9.
When Ronnie Sullivan's knocking in those long pots, you know, he's must be very difficult to play against because
16.
his break billing is always good. And his safety.
17.
Two more open reds after
24.
this one. Looks you'll have to play for these reds in the centre.
$32.
Joe Perry's shuffling about in his chair, hoping for another chance. Never know.
33.
Against O'Sullivan, you just feel that it could be the end. That's how it is. Against most players, you think you had still had a chance.
$40.
36 points in front now. So there's no need.
41.
Wow, I didn't know you were down. Thought he was playing for the blue, but he had a slight angle. He's on the black, so that's made a big difference now. $44 points in front now with just 43 left on the table.
48. 49.
And that'll clinch it. Beautiful stuff.
56. 57.
He wants to clear them up.
$64. 66.
He really is striking the cue ball so well. Joe Perry's played very well in this match, and the highest break with the 139 in the second frame. But it's been Ronnie O'Sullivan that's been the most consistent of the two.
73. $78.
So 78 from Ronnie O'Sullivan clinches the match. It's been a great match, both players playing well. But it's O'Sullivan who goes through to play Neil Robinson in tomorrow's final, winning by 6 frames to 3.
It was a great
nothing to be worried about. I mean, he adapted himself well to the crowd being against him, and they played so well. But the point which we talked about earlier on, that Ronnie raised the bar. Now, we're going to look at a shot here that Ronnie played very early on in this opening frame. Now, most players would play this as a shot to nothing, i.e. get the white ball, pass the baulk line, and, you know, play it as a shot to nothing. Ronnie, whenever he takes a pot on, very rarely is he playing to get a good white. He's playing to get a white in an area where he can score, and that's something a lot of players have got to, you know, to get up to Ronnie's standard. That's what they've got to try and do. A lot of players would have gone off 2 cushions, white on the top cushion, roll up behind the green or brown. They're only getting 1 point for their work. When Ronnie pots a really good ball, he wants to make it a frame-winning chance. OK, he missed the black off a spot a few shots later, but then he went mad, of course, in the last frame. But I think all in all, Ronnie will be pleased the way he scored very heavily, because Joe Perry stood up to him. And that's the key. You know, when you stand up to Ronnie, you've got a chance. If you don't stand up to him, he's going to steamroll you.
Well, let's find out. Here he is.
Oh,
Ronnie, congratulations yet again through to the final. I'm not going to ask you if you think your name's on the trophy, because I've asked you that every time and you've batted it away. But listen, you've got to be pleased to be through, because Joe Perry gave you a real tough game tonight.
No, absolutely. You know, Joe's an unbelievable player. You know, we've had so many good matches, and he should have beat me in the World Championships a couple of years ago. You know, he's a tough match player, and he scores. You know, and he fancies winning there, you know, because he won a tournament last year. So, and I scored really quite well tonight, and you know, and I'm just trying to compete and nick a few frames, and I think I've done that better tonight than in any other match. So,
I think one of the things you look great at the moment, Ron, is your long game. Because I mean, last season you've been struggling a little bit with your long game. You must be pleased the way you're knocking the long ones in.
Yeah, they're all right. You know, I mean, I wasn't as bad as it was probably 8 years ago. I mean, I really couldn't pot a long ball, but for the last 4 or 5 years I've made a few. But as long as I make a few, you know, and I can, you know, mix it a bit with the safety, I know that if I get on a roll and start building momentum, I can score and win.
And Robertson in the final?
Yeah, Robocop. He's like a new Davis and Hendry, isn't he?
Well, he's been methodical and ruthless, I suppose, just like you've been.
Well, I've watched I watched him through the whole of the UK Championships, because obviously had to work on it for Eurosport and that, and he never showed one emotion through the whole tournament. And I was like, this is amazing, this guy. And I've been watching to see if he actually makes any sort of emotion, and I kind of got this out of him today.
That's about all you get.
You know, but what you know, it just shows what an unbelievable professional he is, and you know. But I'm just pleased to be in the final, and obviously, you know, we're just announced that we're going to Bucharest in April for a couple of exhibitions. I'm really excited about that, and then we're just going to announce a 6-city tour of China. Just after the World Championships.
Taking me with you? Or?
Well, you're more than welcome, mate. And we need to add a bit of class.
We're running out of time,
go
Ronnie.
now,
We are running out of time, but you've won this trophy 3 times before. You must want to get it for a 4th.
Have you seen that trophy? Of course I do.
Ronnie, thank you very much. Congratulations. Willie, thank you to you as well for being